Alright guys, it is time for a 5-minute review on the M1811 from Brouwer. Now, woo, almost dropped it. Oh my god, it's a 320. We don't want to do that. We are going to do a 320 conversion. I've got the old Brouwer grip on here. They sent me one of the new steel grips. We're going to test this thing out, put some rounds downrange, see if it makes a big difference, and give you a quick review. Now, before we switch everything over, we're going to go ahead and see what the weight is on this with just the standard grip. This is the polymer Brouwer M1811 grip, and we have a total weight of 26.3 ounces. The weight just of the grip, the steel grip by itself, is 23.3. So 26.3, and this is just 3 ounces lighter. So let's go ahead and throw this thing on here and see what it comes out to. The actual swapping process on this is really simple. We're just going to take it down like we normally would, pull out the takedown lever, takedown pin, and pop out the FCU. So that's done with that grip. We're going to drop this one in. Now this does have an extra part in here that you need to be mindful of. I almost lost this, and this just slides right in here, which fills in the back of the grip and make sure everything lines up properly. So this is going to drop in, pull the trigger a little bit, and she's in. Now we're going to put the takedown lever in. There we go. So this is now all set and ready to go, and already you can really feel a difference in how this thing weighs and the balance of the entire gun. Let's put it on a scale. All right, now for the moment of truth. With a Vortex Defender ST and the grip on, it is a whopping 44.6 ounces. So over 44.7, bouncing between the two of them. Now, first impressions on this thing. Beyond just the weight and balance of the gun, it actually grips a lot better. The standard grip and most of your 320 grips are plastic, polymer. Even the X series, which has the tungsten inlay or whatever, those are still plastic. So it's a little bit more slippery. This helps with the skate tape on there. However, a steel grip with some aggressive texture, and it's not even an aggressive texture, it's like a semi-aggressive texture. Instead of having stuff that's going to poke out, this is actually milled into it. So it doesn't like scrape you up like some of my other guns. I have an Atlas that has an aggressive steel grip that's a 40, and that thing will actually make you bleed after shooting it for a little while. This one doesn't get that, but it does grip pretty freaking well. As you can see here, I'll grab the hell out of it, and you can see my hand is showing the imprints of that grip. So it's pretty freaking solid. Now let's go ahead and put some rounds through it and see how she does when we go live. Now there are 5 criteria that I want to run any piece of gear through to see if it's something that I actually want to run. And the first of those is, does it look good? If it doesn't look good, we don't want to run it. And I gotta say, they did a good job. Function-wise and looks-wise, this is an attractive piece of gear. We have a really nice beaver tail here that fits my hand. You have the 1911 angle, which obviously is the selling point of this thing, on top of the weight, but it really feels good in my hand. I grew up shooting 1911s. I shoot primarily double-stack 1911s in the Atlas form, and this thing really matches that angle. It feels fantastic. We have a good rail. We have some good cuts on the side here. Overall, solid work. Now, the next criteria is, how does it shoot? Is it more accurate? Is it faster? Etc. Let's go ahead and give that thing a test. We've got 2 targets set up here. Let's run a little bill drill just to see how she does. Stand by. That is 6 perfect alphas with a 186. It's got a little slow on the draw there. It's 0.97 draw, not terrible. Splits were sitting around 16, 17, 18, 18, and 20 on my first split. So not too bad. What I will say is that dot comes right back. It feels softer, okay? And that's what I'm expecting. We're adding an extra 20 ounces to this gun. I'm shooting regular 115 grain ammo from G9 Defense, and this thing shoots like I'm shooting 147 grain through a typical gun. Yeah, that is pretty freaking sweet. Now, another criteria I always like to check is reloadability, especially when we switch over to a metal grip. A lot of times we'll find mags stick a little bit on the way in. This one, I haven't seen any indication of that happening. It's got a pretty good mag well on the bottom here, and those mags seem to slide right in. So let's go ahead and do a couple of reload reps. Not bad. That is a 121 reload for slide lock. Mags drop free, no problem. They slide in there without any hiccup, and obviously it locks back, which is as designed. Yep, no issues there. I dig it. Ooh, that felt pretty good. Let's do a speed reload and see if we can get that down to. Makeup shot on that one. Reload was a 111. See if we can clean that up a little bit. Knock all the sand out of here. Now, you guys might see these knocked over barrels and stuff behind me. Hogs. I've been gone for 2 weeks. I come back and my range has been absolutely torn up by hogs. So guess what I'm doing tonight? We're gonna go out and sit out here. Suppressed night vision, see what we can come up with. Ah, that's not it. That's not it at all. It does reload nice though. As you can see, having no problem getting that mag to go in. Even if I get the angle slightly off, it's not hanging up. I've seen where sometimes you get that mag in crooked and it just will stop. So I think they may have a little taper to this grip actually to help funnel that in a little bit. Can't confirm. That was a little bit better. We got a 101, so still not quite sub-second. Haven't been dry firing like I need to. That'll explain it right there. That's my excuse, guys. Do more work. Not much of an excuse, just kind of crap on myself. So let's go ahead and do some comparisons between this one and the stock grip. So the first thing I want to do is do a little bit of slow motion to see muzzle flip, any difference there that we can tell. Now putting this grip back on here, it feels like it's a toy gun compared to the other one. Let's go ahead and check this one out though. All right, so I don't know if you can see it in the camera as clear as I could feel it on here, but the extra weight definitely keeps that nose down. It balances the pistol really differently. So that is definitely a plus in my book for having that heavier grip. Now, one drawback to the heavier grip is wearability. Now, typically when I run a plastic gun, I'm teaching law enforcement or military, and so I run a similar gun to what they're using, whether it's this, a Walther PDP, Glock, M&P, like I don't really care what kind I run. Typically I'm playing with different guns that are in that genre versus walking out into the range with a $7,000 Atlas. It's just, I prefer to use something like this. That said, walking around all day for multiple days in a row in class with that heavy grip starts to wear on you. Like it's literally like wearing two guns on top of all the rest of the gear. So ounces equal pounds. Am I being a bitch? Maybe, but it is noticeable. So that is one pro to having a lighter gun versus having that one. Now, shooting a competition where I need that extra 3%, 5% performance, that's definitely going to make a difference. One question I've had asked is, does the extra weight make a difference on target transitions? Does it speed it up or slow it down? We're going to do a little drill to test that. I've got a target set up about 45 degrees away, plus a plate rack. So we're going to shoot 2 rounds on that one, transition 3 rounds with a plate rack, 2 rounds on that one. We'll do it twice with both grips to see kind of an average here, what we can come up with. Stand by. All right, I threw a Charlie, 2 Charlies. Coming back from that was a 301. Transition from the 2 rounds onto there to the plate rack was a 48. So a half-second transition, and the transition back was a 52. So about a half-second transition between the two of them. Knock that plate down so it doesn't distract me on the transition. Stand by. That one, 303, so we're basically at the same time, but coming back was a long transition. It has a 69 transition on the way back, a 44 transition on the way over. On the way back, as it came in, I let it settle in the alpha, but my dot was like way up high in my window. Didn't love that. Let me do one more transition here. We're gonna shoot that one. hit this popper and come back to that one. Stand by. Better. 217, and we've got a 50 transition to the popper and a 38 transition back. Let's swap grips back over. We're on the same drill. Compare the two. All right, we're all set back up with the steel grip now, and I said this wrong earlier. This is actually the M1823. The other grip, the polymer one, is M1811. This is the 23. What does that mean? I don't know, but that's the name of it. So we're gonna run 2 on that, run 3 plates, and then work it back. Good hits on that one is a 292, so about a 1/10 of a second faster. The transition from here to here was a 58, and the transition back was a 47. So a little bit longer on this transition, a little bit faster on that one, but about the same time. Let's try this again. I think the splits on that were faster simply because of the extra weight. Let's try it again. Stand by. Ooh, terrible transition coming back again, kind of like the last one where I transitioned over there, just didn't have the vision. I dropped into a Charlie. 281, so it's fast overall. Transition from here to the plate was a 41, so that's actually my fastest one yet. Good splits on the plate rack, and then a 58 coming back. So kind of similar to last time, but overall, I think better. Let's try this one more time to the popper and back. Stand by. Ooh, that felt good. We've got a 213, 35 transition to the popper, 42 transition back. That felt pretty solid. So I don't see, if anything, I'm actually getting better transitions. Now that could be a result of me doing this drill a couple times already, getting a little bit more warmed up, but also the transition to the plate rack definitely felt faster because of the extra weight. It felt like that gun was coming right back down a little bit sooner, felt like it was shooting softer. And then of course the splits also verified that. Now, is this a super scientific way to do it? No. If you really want to confirm this, you need to do like this drill 5 times with this grip, 5 times with that grip, 5 times with that grip, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's gonna give you really solid data. But just as preliminary data, this one's shooting better, guys. All right, final thoughts on this thing. Overall, it shoots awesome. Compared to a plastic grip, it's definitely an improvement. The extra weight will keep that muzzle down. It balances the gun and just makes it feel absolutely solid in your hand. It feels more like a 1911, something like an Atlas. Now, granted, it does not have the fit, finish, polish, or trigger of an Atlas. You're still working with a SIG trigger. This is a stock SIG trigger. But it does feel a whole lot better, and the extra weight in the grip definitely helps it shoot a lot softer. Is it worth the price tag? It's up to you. Kind of depends on how much that extra percentage of performance is worth to you. If you have the budget for it, I would say yes. Dropping the extra coin on this, I think it's like $700, is a solid upgrade to any 320. Is it better than the X series grips, which has like the Legion that has a lot of extra weight? 100% yes. I much prefer this grip over the Legion series grips because it feels better. It has a correct grip angle to it. It has a great beaver tail. It has some good texture to it. Definitely improvement over that. And it's solid steel, so it's not this like plasticky that's, you know, it's heavy, but it's not like a metal grip. Overall, I would definitely say that this is worth the price of admission if you're willing to pay for it. Now, that being said, I did get this one for free. I mentioned that in the very first beginning of this video. I appreciate those guys. I've got a good relationship with them. They've supported some of my events. They wanted me to test this thing out. I like it. I'm not going to be running it for my military law enforcement classes just because wearing this all day long, as I mentioned earlier, gets heavy. I did wear it a couple of classes, and I just noticed that it does put a lot of extra weight onto that belt. It's like carrying 2 guns, which is not always a bad idea, but when you're just out on the range all day teaching, I don't know. Overall, solid product. It feels the same as far as angle and stuff goes as the plastic one, so that's what I'm going to be running anyway. If I were going to run a bunch of matches in carry optics or even limited optics, this is a really solid setup. For even limb optics, we got a good magwell. The reloads were solid. And and then just got to throw a good trigger in there. So carry optics, I think it's a give me, honestly, compared to, you know, the other alternatives like the CZ, the, you know, PDP steel frame, M&P steel frame. Those things are solid. Now you got a 320 steel frame that's a true steel frame, has a 1911 grip angle, and feels freaking good. So for what it's worth, guys, check it out. Brouwer, solid dudes, solid product. I'm a fan of it, and I think you will be too if you try it out. Thanks, guys, for watching. Stay tuned. If you have any questions, always hit me up on social media or dryfiremastery.com. That's where we got a lot of cool stuff for you guys. Definitely check that out. I'll see you on the next one.